I am so grateful to be here, to kick off Pride with Equality Illinois, and to be here with all of you. When Equality Illinois endorsed me, it was the day before we found out about the Sun-Times endorsement. And those two things together really catapulted my campaign and made an enormous difference in catching people's attention in obviously a very, very crowded field. And the support that people in this audience and our community has given to me over this last year has been incredible, incredible. And we should all be proudful of what we have accomplished as a community. I have no doubt that I am standing here today as your mayor because of the hard work that has been done, not just over the last year, but the work and sacrifices of so many people in our community over decades. Hard work of getting our rights, being at the table, not accepting no for an answer, and opening up doors and opportunities for people in our community. That's what pride and community activism are all about. And it has helped me personally, and I am eternally grateful. So thank you for that. Pride Month is about being who we are and not being afraid to show it. It's about responding to hate with love, about responding to ignorance with compassion, and about saying in one voice, loud and clear, that hate has no home in Chicago. While my election is a sign of progress, we know what happened during the course of that election. We saw hate rear its ugly head, and we fought back. The road to progress is long, and we still have far to go. Let me talk about that for a moment. I mentioned that we saw some ugliness during the course of the campaign, and I'm saying this because I think it's important for us not to forget that in this city, even as much as we've been able to do, and the contributions that this community makes, there are still those who hate, and that we have to call it out when we see it, and never, ever accept it or turn back. During March, there were a series of anti-gay flyers that were distributed primarily on the South Side, primarily on cars parked outside of conservative black churches. And the message was clear, that if they voted for me, what they were going to be doing is enabling this crazy gay agenda at the expense of everyone else in the city. It was offensive, it was awful, and unfortunately my opponent did not renounce it at the time. We don't know who did it. There's some suspicions. But the point of this is we have to understand that we still have a lot of work to do. They were attacking us. They were attacking our values. And they were an attack on our right to live and love whoever we wanted in whatever way we want. But what I remember most about those flyers is the countless number of people in this room and across Chicago who stood up to say, this is not who we are as a community, and we reject this hate. And we not only have to think about what does and has effects our community, we're seeing hate manifest itself in lots of other ways. With the attacks on synagogues in our city, with the hate-filled messages on social media and otherwise against the Muslim community. As a black gay woman, when I see those other manifestations of hate, I feel community with the people who are trying to be victimized, who are demonized by people out there who want to divide us. And so when we think about what accomplishments we've made, what challenges we have that remain in our community, we also need to extend our hand in charity to other communities that are also under attack and under siege in this time. And we can't forget that. People have asked me many times, what's the most important thing about your historic election? And there are many things to say, but the one thing that I hope resonates, and I particularly hope this message penetrates to young people who are also going through their own coming out process, and their parents who are worried about whether or not their children will live fulfilled lives. The most important thing is for us to live our own authentic life. Being your true self, understanding who you are, and not being afraid to claim loud and proud is something that we have to cherish and relish in Chicago. You know, some of you have heard me say this before. When we were out there last summer, going to the various parades and festivals in Boys Town and Andersonville, the thing that resonated with me loud and clear, particularly when we were trying to get petitions, is the number of people who come to Chicago from elsewhere. Not just from the suburbs, but other states. Because they can't live their authentic life in Oklahoma or Texas or some of the other states that we met people, Rob and I, walking up and down Halstead Street. Chicago is a welcoming city. It is a beacon of hope and light for people in our community who want to be able to live as they are, to walk down the street hand in hand with a person that they love, to be able to celebrate without any sense of shame or pride or fear. Let's not forget, fear is still something that terrorizes our community, not just here in Chicago, but elsewhere. So everything that we do as part of this community has to be about standing up for ourselves, standing up for our rights, but standing up for our broader community. Because the struggle continues, and the struggle isn't just for us, it's for lots of folks who are desperate to make sure that they can live their own authentic life and claim their rights as Americans and make sure that they are safe in their communities. So as we go forward on this new big adventure, and it's only been 2 weeks, but we've already had a lot of interesting that we don't forget or leave behind the thousands of LGBTQ youth who are out on the street and homeless. We will not forget the trans community that still doesn't enjoy the full rights that the rest of us do, and that we will not allow to stand for violence against trans women and have their murder cases go unsolved. That is not going to happen. The fullness of their life with resources and support in their communities, because we have created housing that respects who they are and provides support and resources to them. And we will continue to fight to make sure that we are getting to zero when it comes to HIV transmission. And building on the important work Affinity and the other organizations that are out there, making sure that our community has access to good, quality health care. We do have many more miles to travel, but we should embrace this moment and celebrate. We can be a beacon for the world. We can, as a community, set the standard for what being out and proud is like all across the country and all across the world. And I look forward to partnering with you as we continue on this most magnificent journey. Thank you so much.